When I visited Boston on vacation in summer 2023, I was sometimes thinking to myself, would walking be faster than taking the Red Line? Thankfully, users of Boston's rail system don't have to ask that question anymore. And hopefully, they won't have to ask that anytime soon. The city's rail system, run by the Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority, or MBTA, was not reliable in general when I was there. The Red Line, which is one of the heavy rail lines, was memorably bad. So bad that, when I noticed that I was sitting next to a Boston area transit advocate on my Amtrak train from Boston to New York City, he didn't need to do much convincing for me to write a postcard to the governor of Massachusetts, urging her to give the MBTA the resources it needs to fix its slow zones in their system. In that postcard, I said something along the lines of, "Your subways are so bad that it only took visiting Boston for a few days to notice how bad it is." Thankfully though, Boston fixed its slow zones. Actually, this was accomplished back in December, and I'm doing this video to reflect on how this was addressed, as well as massively extend the celebration of this fact. Just thought I'd say that, for anyone who might make a comment to the effect of, "This is old news." But seriously, I'm probably as ecstatic for this as I'd be for a new transit line, so I'm happy to help extend the celebration of this as long as humanly possible. Maybe longer than humanly possible, because I don't feel like I spend enough time on this channel celebrating those who improve service that already exists. But let's back up. What are slow zones in the MBTA system? Why were they a big deal? And why is it a big deal that they are fixed? According to the MBTA website, quote, "A speed restriction is an area in which trains are required to run at slower than normal speeds because of track wear and tear or other problems. Speed restrictions are put in place to ensure rider safety." End quote. These speed restrictions are also known as slow zones. These slow zones were extremely frustrating to me, and I was only a tourist who had the luxury of making my own schedule as I went along. If they were frustrating to me, they must have been extremely frustrating to native Bostonians as well. They significantly reduced the speeds of trains, resulted in significantly longer commutes to and from work or school, and significantly reduced the number of trains you can run on MBTA subway lines. Fixing these slow zones might not be as glamorous as a new subway or light rail line, but doing that was the sort of thing that I would argue was every bit as important as building a new line. The potential impacts on ridership and train capacity that would come with fixing the slow zones would have been that big, in my opinion. But the work of fixing the slow zones was not easy. It meant dramatic shutdowns along the way so as to fix the maintenance issues leading to said slow zones. And it meant dealing with a maintenance backlog to the tune of tens of billions of dollars. Somehow, the MBTA was able to overcome those challenges, and in the process, clear the system of slow zones for the first time in over 20 years. As someone who considered much of the MBTA Red Line, or at least the parts of it I rode, to be a perpetual slow zone, I can't even begin to tell you how big of a deal that is. It means more reliable train service, more trains that can run at rush hours, and therefore, train service that is a more appealing option to people who live in the Boston area. MBTA General Manager Philip Ain and his team at MBTA deserve a lot of credit. And so do the workers who actually fixed the slow zones. I also give credit to transit advocates who said that this was a huge issue that urgently needed fixing. Advocates like the person I sat next to on Amtrak. As a side note, it would be pretty wild if the person who sat next to me on the Amtrak train happened to be watching this video. Getting back to the topic of this video, the challenge, of course, is keeping service this way. My hope is that the mentality of the MBTA from here on forward is, We don't want to return back to the days of dozens of slow zones ever again. As long as that mentality exists, I am cautiously optimistic that we won't return to those days. But I can only be cautious, because apparently MBTA has struggled with mismanagement in the past, and it remains to be seen whether AIN is only a reprieve from that mismanagement, or if this is the start of an era when MBTA is better managed, with a focus on doing the unglamorous, yet important, things that need to be done to ensure good service for people who live in the Boston area, as well as good service for history nerds who visit Boston, like yours truly. If you have any thoughts on this subject, please leave a comment in the comment section below. Please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more content on imagining better rail transit in America. Thank you, and have a good day.